The stars shined like tiny diamonds against the black canvas of space. The Terran exploration vessel Horizon drifted silently through the void. Its sleek hull gleamed under the distant light of an unfamiliar sun. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the main screen. She was tall and lean, with short black hair and skin toughened by years in space. The bridge hummed with quiet activity as crew members worked at their stations. "Captain, we're picking up an unusual signal," said Communications Officer Maya Rodriguez. Her fingers moved quickly over her console. "It's not matching any known pattern in our database." Reyes walked over to Rodriguez's station. "Is it artificial?" "Yes, ma'am. Definitely not natural. It seems to be a repeating message." Chief Science Officer Dr. Kaito Nakamura joined them, his face glowing in the blue light of his tablet. He was shorter than Reyes, with careful movements and thoughtful eyes. "The signal is coming from the fourth planet in this system," he said. "And there's something else." He tapped his screen, sending the image to the main view screen. "There's a large structure in orbit around the planet." The bridge fell silent as everyone stared at the image. The structure was enormous, a wheel-shaped space station with spokes connecting to a central hub. "It seems we're not the first visitors to the system," Reyes said quietly. Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen, the ship's tactical officer, straightened in his chair. He was muscular with a shaved head and quick eyes that missed nothing. "Should I raise shields, Captain?" Reyes shook her head. "Not yet. We're here to explore, not to fight. Let's see if we can understand their message first." For the next 3 hours, the Horizon's computers worked to decode the signal. Finally, Rodriguez called out from her station. "Captain, we've got it!" It's a greeting message with basic mathematical principles as a foundation for communication. Reyes nodded. "Send our standard first contact response. Let them know we come in peace." The response came faster than anyone expected. The main view screen suddenly showed an alien face. The creature had pale blue skin, large eyes with 3 pupils each and no visible nose. It spoke, and the computer translated its words into English. "Greetings, unknown vessel. I am High Counselor Zivran of the Eldari Confederation. You have entered space claimed by our people." Reyes stepped forward. "I am Captain Elena Reyes of the Terran exploration vessel Horizon, representing Earth and humanity. We are peaceful explorers seeking knowledge and friendship with other intelligent species." The alien's eyes blinked in an unusual pattern. "Earth? We have no record of this world or your species in our extensive database. You must be new to the stars." There was something in the way the alien said "new" that made Reyes stiffen slightly. It sounded like primitive or backward. "We achieved faster-than-light travel 50 Earth years ago," Reyes explained. "We have established colonies on 12 planets in 8 different star systems." Zivran made a sound that the computer couldn't translate. It might have been a laugh. 50 years? 12 planets? The alien's tone was unmistakably condescending now. "The Eldari Confederation spans over 3,000 years of space travel and includes 500 member species across 12,000 worlds." Dr. Nakamura stepped forward. "We would be honored to learn from such an advanced civilization," he said smoothly. Zivran seemed pleased by this response. "Yes, that would be appropriate. Your species is youthful. You have much to learn from those who have traveled the stars since before your ancestors discovered fire." The conversation continued, with the Eldari asking questions about Earth and humans. Many of the questions seemed innocent enough, about Earth's atmosphere, human biology, and social structures. But some questions made Chen frown, especially those about Earth's defenses and military capabilities. "Captain," Chen whispered to Reyes during a brief pause in the transmission, "they're gathering intelligence on us." Reyes nodded slightly. "I know, but so are we." 3 days later, a small Eldari ship docked with the Horizon. A delegation of 5 aliens came aboard, led by Ambassador Thelvac. They toured the ship, asking countless questions and making notes on devices strapped to their wrists. Dr. Nakamura guided the aliens to the science lab, where he had prepared displays about Earth's history, culture, and achievements. The aliens seemed particularly interested in Earth's rapid technological advancement over the past 2 centuries. "Your species develops technology at an unusual rate," Thelvac commented. "From your first powered flight to space travel in less than a century. Fascinating. And concerning," Nakamura asked, keeping his voice neutral. Rapid development often leads to instability, the ambassador said. Young species frequently destroy themselves before they reach maturity. Later that evening, Captain Reyes hosted a formal dinner for the Eldari delegation. The ship's chef had prepared special meals based on the biological information the aliens had shared. During the dinner, Ambassador Thelvak raised a glass of shimmering blue liquid. "To new friendships and the education of youthful species," he said. Reyes raised her own glass. "To mutual respect and shared knowledge," she countered. After the dinner, Reyes called her senior officers to a private meeting in her quarters. "Thoughts?" she asked. "They're hiding something," Chen said immediately. "They ask too many questions about our weapons, our FTL drive, and Earth's defenses." Dr. Nakamura nodded. "I agree. And have you noticed how they share information? They tell us about their art, their philosophy, their history, but nothing about their technology or science." Rodriguez leaned forward. "Captain, while they've been on our ship, I've detected unusual scanning activities. They're mapping our systems, our power grid, everything." Reyes frowned. "So they're studying us. The question is why? Are they simply cautious, or is there something else going on? I managed to copy some data from one of their devices when they were in the lab," Nakamura said. "I haven't been able to decode much, but I found references to something called the Youthful Species Protocol." "That doesn't sound good," Chen muttered. "We need more information," Reyes decided. "The Eldari have invited us to visit their space station. We'll accept, but we'll be careful. Chen, I want a full security team. Rodriguez, try to access their communications network if you can do it safely. Nakamura, learn everything you can about their technology." The next day, Reyes informed Ambassador Thelvak that the Horizon would escort the Eldari ship back to their station. The ambassador seemed pleased by this decision. "Excellent," Thelvak said. "The High Council is eager to meet with representatives of such a promising young species. We have much to teach you." As the Horizon prepared to depart, Dr. Nakamura approached Captain Reyes on the bridge. "Captain, I've translated more of the data I copied," he said quietly. "The Youthful Species Protocol appears to be some kind of assessment procedure. The Eldari classify new species based on their potential threat level." Reyes frowned. "Threat level? We've shown no aggression." "It's not about current actions," Nakamura explained. "It's about potential. They're assessing whether humanity might eventually become a threat to their dominance." Reyes stared out at the stars, her reflection faint in the viewscreen glass. "And what happens to species that fail their assessment?" she asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. Nakamura's voice was grim. The text mentioned early intervention to guide development along acceptable paths. Or to stop development entirely, Reyes concluded. As the Horizon moved toward the Eldari station, Reyes couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The vastness of space suddenly felt more dangerous than ever before. "They called us youthful," she murmured to herself, "but they haven't seen what humanity is capable of yet." Little did she know how soon the Eldari would learn exactly what humanity could do when threatened. The Horizon glided smoothly alongside the Eldari ship. They were 3 days into their journey toward the massive Eldari space station. Captain Elena Reyes sat in her quarters reviewing the reports from her officers. Each report deepened her concern about the Eldari's true intentions. A chime sounded, and the door slid open to reveal Chief Science Officer Nakamura. "Captain, I've discovered something troubling," he said, his voice low despite them being alone. "I've been analyzing the Eldari ship's energy patterns. They're running silent weapon systems," Reyes frowned. "Are you certain?" "Yes. Their power distribution doesn't match what we'd expect for a diplomatic vessel. They're channeling energy to concealed weapon banks." Reyes stood up and paced the small room. "Have they detected your scans?" "I don't believe so. I've been passive, using only our standard sensor sweeps." She nodded. "Good. Keep monitoring them, but don't change anything that might alert them." "There's something else," Nakamura added. "I've translated more of their data. The Eldari classify species into categories. They've labeled Earth as a Class 3 emergent world. What does that mean? It means they consider us technologically advanced enough to be a potential future threat, but not yet advanced enough to defend ourselves effectively." Reyes's eyes narrowed. "And what's their standard procedure for Class 3 worlds?" Nakamura hesitated. "Containment or neutralization." The implications hung heavy in the air between them. Thank you, Kaito, Reyes said finally. Increase security throughout the ship, but make it look routine. I don't want the Eldari to know we suspect anything. After Nakamura left, Reyes opened a secure channel to Lieutenant Commander Chen. Jackson, I need you to quietly prepare the ship for possible hostile action. Run battle drills as standard exercises, and check that our emergency protocols are fully operational. Chen's face remained professional, but his eyes showed understanding. Yes, Captain. I'll handle it personally. For the next day, the Horizon continued alongside the Eldari vessel. On the surface, everything seemed normal. The Eldari ambassador and his team continued their cultural exchange meetings with various crew members. But beneath the facade of friendship, both sides were preparing for the worst. On the fourth day of their journey, Captain Reyes invited Ambassador Thelvak to dinner in her private dining room. Only her senior officers were present. Ambassador, Reyes said as they ate, I'm curious about something. How does the Eldari Confederation typically interact with new spacefaring species? Thelvak's three pupiled eyes blinked in that strange pattern Reyes had come to recognize as amusement. Each case is unique, Captain, the ambassador said smoothly. But generally, we guide young species toward peaceful integration with the galactic community. And if a species doesn't want your guidance? Chen asked bluntly. The ambassador turned those alien eyes toward him. All species benefit from our wisdom, Lieutenant Commander. Some simply require more persuasive methods of education. The meal continued with polite conversation, but the undercurrent of tension remained. Later that night, as most of the crew slept, Communications Officer Rodriguez rushed to the captain's quarters. Captain, I've intercepted a transmission from the Eldari ship, she said breathlessly. It was heavily encrypted, but I managed to break through enough to get the gist. They're calling for reinforcements. Reyes was fully awake instantly. When? They should arrive within 12 hours. The message mentioned securing the human vessel. Reyes pressed the emergency alert on her desk, sending a silent alarm to her senior officers. Within minutes, they had gathered in her quarters. We have 12 hours, she told them. Prepare for the worst, but don't show your hand yet. We need to maintain the illusion that we're unaware of their plans. The next morning, Reyes met with Ambassador Thelvak on the bridge as usual. She gave no sign that she knew of the approaching threat. We should reach the station tomorrow, the ambassador said. The High Council is eager to welcome humanity into the galactic community. We're looking forward to it, Reyes lied smoothly. Earth will be pleased to establish formal relations with such an advanced civilization. As the ambassador left the bridge, Chen moved to Reyes's side. Everything is ready, Captain, he said quietly. Security teams are on standby. Engineering has prepared emergency power reroutes. Medical is prepared for casualties, Reyes nodded. Now we wait. The attack came sooner than expected. Just 6 hours later, as the Horizon passed through a dense asteroid field that obscured long-range sensors, the Eldari ship suddenly veered away. Captain, Rodriguez called out. Multiple ships decloaking around us. The view screen showed 3 large Eldari warships appearing as if from nowhere, their weapons already charged and aimed at the Horizon. Red alert, Reyes ordered. Shields up. Battle stations. The ship's lighting shifted to red and alarm klaxons blared. Crew members rushed to their emergency positions. Ambassador Thelvak's face appeared on the view screen. Gone was the polite mask, replaced by cold determination. Captain Reyes, your ship is surrounded. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Resistance is futile. Reyes stood tall, her face showing no fear. Ambassador, what is the meaning of this? We came in peace. Peace is a luxury afforded to mature species, Captain. Earth has been deemed too dangerous to allow unrestricted growth. Your rapid technological advancement and aggressive history make you a future threat to galactic stability. So this was your plan all along? To assess us and then attack if we didn't meet your standards? Thelvak's alien face showed no remorse. It is the way of things. Young species must be guided or contained. Your ship will be seized. Your technology will be studied. Your world will be managed. And if we resist, then you will learn why the Eldari have dominated this sector for 3,000 years. The transmission cut off. Immediately, the Eldari ships opened fire. The Horizon rocked violently as energy beams struck its shields. Return fire, Reyes ordered. Target their weapon systems. The Horizon's weapons responded. lancing out at the nearest Eldari vessel. But they were outmatched 3-1, and the Eldari ships had clearly been designed for combat. Shields at 60%, Chen reported as another blast hit them. Communications to Earth are being jammed, Rodriguez added. We can't get a message out. Reyes gripped the arms of her command chair. Engineering, reroute power from non-essential systems to shields and weapons. The Horizon fought valiantly, managing to damage one of the Eldari ships. But after 20 minutes of intense battle, their situation was dire. Shields failing. Chen called out as the ship shuddered under another barrage. Suddenly, a new alarm sounded. Captain, we have boarders. Security Chief Wei reported over the comm. Multiple breaches on decks 3, 5, and 7. Reyes's mind raced. They couldn't win this fight conventionally. Chen, take a security team and protect the engine core. Rodriguez, get to auxiliary communications and try to break through their jamming. Nakamura, secure all data on Earth's defenses. As the officers rushed to carry out her orders, the bridge doors slid open. Ambassador Thelvak entered, flanked by 4 armed Eldari soldiers. Captain Reyes, the ambassador said, your resistance is impressive but ultimately pointless. Reyes stood her ground. Why attack us? We've shown no hostility toward your people. It's not what you've done, Captain. It's what you might become. Thelvak stepped closer. Our analysis of Earth's history shows a pattern. You advance quickly, you fight constantly, and you never stop expanding. In another century, humanity would be uncontainable. So you decided to attack us first? Precisely. A preemptive measure. Nothing personal, Captain. Simply the prudent course of action. A sudden explosion rocked the ship. The lights flickered, and for a moment everyone was distracted. Reyes seized the opportunity. She lunged toward her command console and slammed her hand down on a hidden button. Emergency Protocol Alpha, she shouted as the Eldari soldiers raised their weapons. The bridge lights went completely dark, then emergency lighting bathed everything in red. The ship's computer announced, Emergency Protocol Alpha initiated. Decentralized command structure activated. The Eldari soldiers fired, and Reyes felt a searing pain in her side. She collapsed to the floor as chaos erupted around her. Through the haze of pain, she saw her bridge crew fighting back against the Eldari. She tried to stand but couldn't. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was Lieutenant Zhang dragging her toward the emergency bridge exit as weapons fire crossed overhead. Elsewhere on the ship, Chen received the alert that Emergency Protocol Alpha had been activated. This meant the captain was down and command had been distributed among the senior officers. Defend this position. He ordered his security team as they set up a perimeter around the engine core. If they take the engines, we lose everything. The sounds of fighting echoed throughout the ship. The Eldari were advancing deck by deck, but the crew of the Horizon fought with unexpected ferocity. In the medical bay, Dr. Sarah Lynn worked frantically to treat wounded crew members. When the doors burst open and Eldari soldiers appeared, she didn't hesitate. She hit the emergency quarantine button, sealing the critical patients in protected areas before the soldiers could reach them. As the Horizon burned and its crew fought desperately against the alien invaders, the Eldari were learning a harsh lesson. They had gravely underestimated humanity's will to darkness. Pain. The steady beep of medical equipment. Captain Elena Reyes opened her eyes slowly, wincing at the sharp pain in her side. She wasn't on the bridge anymore. The ceiling above her was the dull gray of the auxiliary medical bay, not the main sick bay. This was one of the emergency facilities scattered throughout the ship. Captain, you're awake. Dr. Sarah Lynn moved into view, her face showing relief despite the smudges of soot and dried blood on her cheek. Report, Reyes managed, her voice rough. You've been unconscious for 14 hours, Lynn said. Energy weapon to your side. I've stabilized you, but you need to remain still. The ship? A new voice answered. Partially under our control. Reyes turned her head to see Lieutenant Commander Chen sitting nearby, a makeshift bandage wrapped around his arm. His uniform was torn and burned in several places. Jackson, she whispered. What's our status? Chen moved closer. We're in bad shape, Captain. The Eldari control about 60% of the ship. We've established safe zones in parts of engineering, the auxiliary control room, and this medical facility. We have about 70 crew members confirmed alive and with us. And the rest? Chen's face darkened. 32 confirmed dead. The others are either captured or unaccounted for. Reyes closed her eyes briefly, feeling the weight of those losses. The Eldari? Still on board. They've stopped their advance for now. They seem to be focusing on accessing our computer systems and studying our technology. They won't get anything important, said a new voice. Dr. Nakamura entered the room, carrying a tablet. I activated the security protocols before they reached the main computer core. All sensitive data about Earth's defenses and coordinates is locked behind encryption. They won't break easily. Reyes tried to sit up, grimacing at the pain. Dr. Lin rushed to help her. Easy, Captain. You're still healing. Once in a sitting position, Reyes looked at each of her officers. So we've lost the ship, but not completely. What about communications? Have we been able to contact Earth? Communications Officer Rodriguez stepped forward from the shadows. Her right arm was in a sling, but her eyes were determined. Not yet, Captain. The Eldari are jamming all standard channels. But I'm working on using the emergency quantum entanglement communicator. It's experimental, but it might get through. Good, that's our priority, Reyes said. Earth needs to know what happened. They need to prepare, Chen frowned. Prepare for what, Captain? If the Eldari could do this to us, what chance does Earth have? They said they've been in space for thousands of years. That's exactly the point, Nakamura interjected, his eyes brightening with the spark of discovery. I've been studying the data I managed to copy from their systems before the attack. I think I understand why they're so afraid of us. He placed his tablet on a nearby table, projecting a holographic display for everyone to see. It showed comparative data between Earth and various alien worlds. Look at these readings, he continued. Earth's gravity is 1.5 times stronger than the Eldari homeworld. Our atmosphere is denser. Our solar radiation levels are higher. What does that mean? Rodriguez asked. It means we evolved in what they would consider a high-gravity, high-radiation death world, Nakamura explained, excitement creeping into his voice. Humans are physically stronger than most Eldari species because we developed on a more challenging planet. That's part of why they call us youthful. Earth is geologically more active than most life-bearing worlds they've encountered. Reyes understood immediately. So that's why they were so concerned about our rapid advancement. Not just our technology, but our physical capabilities too. Exactly, Nakamura nodded. And there's more. The Eldari have been manipulating younger species for millennia, guiding their development to ensure they remain non-threatening. Species that show too much independence or advancement are contained. Like us, Chen said grimly. Like they tried to do to us, Reyes corrected him. We're not contained yet. A young ensign rushed into the room. Commander Chen, we've spotted an Eldari patrol heading this way. They'll be here in 10 minutes. Chen immediately stood. We need to move. This location may be compromised. Wait, Reyes said, struggling to her feet despite Dr. Lin's protests. Before we go, we need a plan. We can't just keep hiding and running. What do you suggest, Captain? Rodriguez asked. We're outnumbered and outgunned. Reyes steadied herself against a table. We may be outnumbered, but I think Dr. Nakamura just showed us that we have advantages they don't expect. She turned to Chen. How many weapons do we have? Not many. Standard phasers for everyone here. 2 pulse rifles. Some improvised explosives the engineering team put together. And how many security personnel? 15 combat ready. Maybe 10 more who could fight if needed. Reyes nodded. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're not going to try to retake the ship, not yet. First, we focus on 3 objectives. Establishing communication with Earth, gathering intelligence on the Eldari, and disrupting their operations whenever possible. She pointed to Nakamura. You said they're studying our technology. Can you tell what they're most interested in? Nakamura consulted his tablet. Based on power usage and their movement patterns, they're focusing on our FTL drive and weapon systems. Then we make sure they don't understand either, Reyes decided. Chen, I want small teams to sabotage key systems. Not enough to destroy the ship, but enough to feed them false data. Guerrilla tactics, Chen nodded appreciatively. Hit and run. Exactly. Rodriguez, you focus on the quantum communicator. Take whoever you need. Nakamura, continue analyzing their data. Find weaknesses we can exploit. Dr. Lin cleared her throat. And you, Captain? You're in no condition to fight. Reyes smiled grimly. I'll coordinate from the auxiliary control room. And I'll record a message for Earth, so it's ready the moment we establish communications. Within minutes, they had evacuated the medical bay, moving through the ship's maintenance tunnels to avoid Eldari patrols. The crew split into their assigned teams, moving with purpose despite their injuries and exhaustion. In the auxiliary control room, Reyes watched the ship's schematic, tracking the movements of both her crew and the Eldari invaders. The control room was small, designed as a backup in case the main bridge was lost. Now it served as their command center. Sabotage Team Alpha in position. Chen's voice came through the comm. We're at the main power junction for the FTL drive. Proceed, Reyes ordered. For the next several hours, the crew of the Horizon fought a different kind of battle, not with brute force but with cunning. Chen's teams planted false data in key systems, leaving traps for the Eldari engineers to find. When the aliens investigated one section, another team would strike elsewhere. Meanwhile, Rodriguez and her team worked frantically on the quantum entanglement communicator in a sealed maintenance area. The problem is power, she explained to Reyes over the comm. The QEC needs a direct line to the main reactor, but the Eldari control that section. We're trying to build a bypass using emergency power cells, but it's slow work. Keep at it, Reyes encouraged her. That's our lifeline to Earth. As the hours passed, Dr. Nakamura made a breakthrough. He burst into the auxiliary control room, his eyes wide with excitement. Captain, I found something critical. He connected his tablet to the main display. I've been analyzing the Eldari biological data, cross-referencing it with their shield technology. The display showed complex diagrams of Eldari physiology, alongside their shield specifications. Their shields are designed to block energy weapons and physical projectiles, Nakamura explained, but they have a vulnerability. The Eldari evolved on a planet with very little ultraviolet radiation. Their shields are optimized to block the frequencies they find dangerous, but not the ones humans can tolerate, Reyes finished, understanding dawning. Exactly. Our emergency flares operate at a frequency that should penetrate their personal shields. It won't harm them directly, but it will cause extreme discomfort and temporarily disrupt their shield generators. Reyes smiled for the first time since the attack. That's exactly the kind of advantage we need. Good work, Doctor. She opened a channel to Chen. Jackson, gather all the emergency flares and UV light sources you can find. I have a new tactic for you. The next Eldari patrol to enter a human-controlled section was met with an unexpected defense. As they rounded a corner, multiple UV flares ignited simultaneously. The effect was immediate. The aliens recoiled, their shield generators sputtering and failing as they shielded their sensitive eyes. Chen's security team, wearing protective goggles, attacked while the Eldari were vulnerable. Within minutes, the patrol was subdued, and the humans had captured their first Eldari weapons and equipment. It worked perfectly, Chen reported. Their shields went down just like Nakamura predicted. We've got 4 prisoners and their weapons. Good, Reyes replied. Secure them separately. I want to interrogate one of them personally. An hour later, Reyes faced an Eldari soldier in a makeshift brig, actually a storage room with reinforced doors. The alien glared at her with those 3 pupiled eyes. Your resistance is pointless, it said in accented English. More ships are coming. Your species will be contained. Reyes studied the alien calmly. Why are you so afraid of us? The question seemed to surprise the Eldari. We are not afraid. We are... Communications Officer Maya Rodriguez wiped sweat from her forehead as she made another adjustment to the quantum entanglement communicator. The small device, no larger than a shoebox, represented humanity's only hope of contacting Earth. Her injured arm throbbed, but she ignored the pain. Try it now, she told Ensign Park, who was monitoring power levels. Park nodded and activated the system. The QEC hummed to life, its internal components glowing with a soft blue light. But after a few seconds, the light flickered and died. Power spike, Park reported. We're still not getting a stable connection to the quantum matrix. Rodriguez sighed in frustration. We're missing something. The entangled particles should be responding regardless of distance. The door to their makeshift communications lab slid open, and Dr. Nakamura entered. His uniform was dirty and torn, but his eyes were bright with purpose. Any progress? He asked. Not enough, Rodriguez admitted. We can power the device, but we can't establish a stable quantum link. Nakamura studied the QEC thoughtfully. May I? He asked, gesturing toward the device. Rodriguez stepped aside. Be my guest. We've tried everything I can think of. Nakamura examined the QEC, then checked the power connections. Finally, He opened his tablet and reviewed some data. "I think I see the problem," he said after several minutes. "The Eldari jamming field is interfering with the quantum stabilizer. It's not blocking the entanglement directly, it can't, but it's preventing the stabilizer from maintaining coherence." "So what do we do?" Rodriguez asked. "We can't shut down their jamming field." "No, but we can shield the QEC itself." Nakamura turned to Park. "I need you to get something from the materials lab. There should be a container of metamaterials we were studying, specifically the sample labeled QM7. As Park hurried away, Nakamura explained to Rodriguez, "QM7 is an experimental material designed to create a quantum-stable field. We were testing it for potential FTL communication enhancements, but it might work as a shield against the Eldari interference." "Might?" Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. "Science is full of uncertainties," Nakamura said with a small smile, "but I'd estimate an 82% probability of success." 40 minutes later, with the QM7 material carefully arranged around the QEC, they were ready to try again. "Power level stable," Park reported. "Quantum matrices." "Holding! We have coherence!" Rodriguez felt a surge of hope. Establishing link to Earth's receiver. She activated the communication protocol, her fingers flying over the controls. "Link established. We have a connection." In the auxiliary control room, Captain Reyes received the news with grim satisfaction. Despite Dr. Lin's protests about her condition, she had recorded a detailed message for Earth explaining the Eldari attack and the threat they posed. "Send the message now," she ordered. "Full data package, including everything Nakamura has discovered about their technology and biology." Rodriguez's voice came back over the comm. "Transmitting now, Captain." Reyes turned to Chen, who was studying a tactical display of the ship. "How long do you think we have before they send reinforcements?" Chen frowned. "Based on the communications we've intercepted, I'd say 2 days, maybe 3 at most. Then we need to act quickly." Reyes stood up, ignoring the pain in her side. "Gather the senior officers. It's time for the next phase." 20 minutes later, the remaining senior officers of the Horizon gathered in the auxiliary control room. Reyes looked at each of them. Chen, Rodriguez, Nakamura, Dr. Lin, and Engineering Officer Torres. They were battered and exhausted, but determination burned in their eyes. "Our message to Earth has been sent," Reyes began. "Now we need to give them time to respond. The Eldari reinforcements will be here soon, and when they arrive, they'll overwhelm our current defenses." "What do you propose, Captain?" Torres asked. "We're going to retake the ship," Reyes stated flatly. The room fell silent. "With respect, Captain," Chen said carefully. "We're outnumbered at least 3 to 1. Even with the UV vulnerability, a frontal assault would be suicide." "I'm not suggesting a frontal assault," Reyes clarified. "I'm suggesting we use the ship itself as a weapon." She turned to Torres. "The main engine core, can it be modified to emit a directed pulse of ultraviolet radiation?" Torres thought for a moment. Yes, it could. If we reconfigured the containment field to focus through the forward emitters, we could create a massive UV pulse, but it would drain a significant portion of our remaining power." "And it would affect the entire ship?" Chen asked. "Every section," Torres confirmed. "There would be no way to shield our own people." "Then we'll need to protect them," Reyes said. She looked at Dr. Lin. "Do we have enough UV protection gear for our crew?" "Not standard issue," Lin replied. "But we could improvise using the materials in medical and the science labs." "Do it," Reyes ordered. "We'll need protection for every crew member." She turned back to the group. "Here's the plan. We'll split into 3 teams. Team 1, led by Chen, will create diversions throughout the ship to draw Eldari attention. Team 2, under Rodriguez, will secure the communications array to ensure our link to Earth remains open. Team 3, led by Torres and myself, will reach the engine core control room to prepare the UV pulse." Nakamura raised his hand. "And what about the Eldari? This won't kill them, will it?" "No," Reyes assured him. "Based on your data, it will incapacitate them temporarily, disrupt their shields, disorient them, and likely cause significant discomfort. But it won't be lethal. Once they're incapacitated," Chen added, "we secure them and regain control of the ship." "Exactly." Reyes nodded. "We launch the operation in 6 hours. That gives us time to prepare the UV protection and for everyone to get some rest." She looked at her officers sternly. "I want everyone to get at least 3 hours of sleep." "That's an order." We'll need clear heads for what's coming. As the meeting broke up, Dr. Lin approached Reyes. And what about you, Captain? You need rest more than anyone. Reyes smiled tiredly. I'll rest when my ship is secure, Doctor. You'll rest now, Lin insisted, or I'll declare you medically unfit for command. That wound needs time to heal, and you need sleep to make rational decisions. After a brief staring contest, Reyes relented. 4 hours. Then wake me. While the captain slept, the crew prepared. Dr. Lin and her medical team created improvised UV protection using medical coatings and materials from the science labs. Engineering teams under Torres made the necessary calculations for the engine core modifications. Chen's security personnel prepared their diversionary tactics, setting up remote detonators at key points throughout the ship. In the communications section, Rodriguez received an unexpected transmission. Captain, she called over the comm urgently. You need to see this. Reyes, who had managed just under 3 hours of sleep, rushed to the communications lab. What is it? Rodriguez pointed to her screen. A response from Earth. The quantum link worked both ways. On the screen was a message from Fleet Admiral Chen at Earth Command. Captain Reyes, your message received. Mobilizing immediate response. Terran Defense Fleet deploying to your coordinates. ETA 26 hours. Hold position if possible. Relief force includes 5 heavy cruisers under Admiral Joshi. Authorization code. Terra 9 Delta 7. Earth stands with you. Reyes read the message twice, her expression shifting from disbelief to fierce pride. 5 heavy cruisers, she whispered. They're sending the Retribution battle group. Can they get here in time? Rodriguez asked. They'll have to, Reyes said grimly. Let's make sure we're still here when they arrive. The next few hours passed in a blur of preparation. By the time the 6-hour mark arrived, every surviving crew member knew their role in the operation. They had improvised UV protective gear, goggles made from polarized viewscreen materials, skin coatings derived from medical sunblocks, and modified uniforms treated with reflective compounds. In the auxiliary control room, Reyes addressed the team leaders one final time. The timing has to be perfect, she emphasized. Chen's team creates the diversions first. When the Eldari respond, Rodriguez's team moves to secure communications. Once both operations are underway, Torres and I head for the engine core. Questions? There were none. Each officer knew what was at stake. Then let's take back our ship, Reyes said. Operation Daybreak, as Chen had named it, began with a series of small explosions in the cargo bays. As Eldari security forces rushed to investigate, additional detonations occurred in the mess hall and recreation areas. Diversion successful, Chen reported over the secure comm channel. Eldari forces are redistributing as expected. Team 2, you're up, Reyes ordered. Rodriguez led her team through the maintenance tunnels toward the main communications array. They encountered an Eldari patrol almost immediately. UV protection activated, Rodriguez ordered. Her team donned their protective gear and activated portable UV emitters they had constructed. The effect on the Eldari was immediate. The aliens recoiled, their shields flickering as they tried to shield their sensitive eyes. Within moments, Rodriguez's team had subdued them without firing a shot. Communications section secured, she reported. Setting up defensive positions now. Team 3, move out, Reyes commanded. She and Torres led their team toward the engine core control room. Unlike the other teams, they encountered heavy resistance. The Eldari had maintained a strong presence near the ship's critical systems. Captain, we can't get through, Torres reported as they took cover behind a bulkhead. There are too many of them. The bridge of the horizon hummed with tense activity. Captain Elena Reyes studied the tactical display, where 3 red dots indicated the approaching Eldari warships. They would arrive in less than 30 minutes. The blue dots representing Earth's fleet were still hours away. All departments status report, Reyes ordered. Engineering at 74% capacity, Torres reported. We've rerouted power to weapons and shields, but the UV pulse drained more than we expected. Weapon systems ready, Chen added from tactical. Main cannons at 70%, point defense at 85%. Communications fully operational, Rodriguez confirmed. Quantum link to Earth remains stable, Dr. Nakamura stepped forward. Captain, I've completed my analysis of the Eldari ships based on our sensor data and prisoner interrogations. Their Dreadnought-class vessel has significantly more powerful weapons than we anticipated. But the UV vulnerability, Appears consistent across all their technology. Can we generate another UV pulse? Reyes asked. Torres shook his head. Not ship-wide. The engine core needs at least 48 hours to recover from the strain, but we could modify our weapons to emit UV radiation on impact. Do it, Reyes ordered. How long? 20 minutes minimum, Reyes frowned. That's cutting it close. Get started immediately. As Torres hurried off the bridge, Reyes turned to her officers. We need a strategy. We can't outgun 3 warships, especially not a dreadnought. What about the asteroid field we passed earlier? Chen suggested. It's dense enough to restrict maneuverability. If we could lure them in there, it might negate some of their advantage. Good thinking, Reyes agreed. Helm, set course for the asteroid field, full impulse. The horizon turned gracefully, accelerating toward the distant cluster of space rocks. On screen, the red dots of the Eldari ships adjusted course to follow. They're pursuing, Chen reported. Estimated time to weapons range 18 minutes. Time to the asteroid field? 15 minutes, Captain. Reyes nodded. It'll be close. Rodriguez, open a channel to Ambassador Thelvac's ship. The main screen flickered, then showed the Eldari ambassador. His 3 pupilled eyes narrowed when he saw Reyes. Captain Reyes, he said coldly, your resistance is impressive but futile. Our reinforcements will arrive shortly. That's why I'm contacting you, Ambassador, Reyes replied calmly. To offer you a chance to surrender. The ambassador's skin changed color slightly. A sign of surprise or amusement, Reyes couldn't tell which. Surrender? Thelvac repeated. Captain, your ship is damaged. You are outnumbered. Your weapons are no match for our reinforcements. Why would we surrender? Because Earth knows what you've done, Reyes said. Our fleet has been mobilized. 5 heavy cruisers are on their way. This is your last opportunity to end this peacefully. Thelvac's expression was unreadable to human eyes. You're bluffing. There's no way you contacted Earth. Our jamming field was ineffective against our quantum entanglement communicator, Reyes finished for him. Check your long-range sensors, Ambassador. The Terran Defense Fleet is coming. They'll be here in... She glanced at Chen, who held up 6 fingers. 6 hours. Even if that's true, Thelvac said after a moment, our reinforcements will arrive first. Your ship will be destroyed long before any help arrives. Then you've made your choice, Reyes said grimly. Remember, Ambassador, we offered peace. She signaled Rodriguez to cut the transmission. He didn't believe us, Chen observed. No, Reyes agreed. But I didn't expect him to. I just wanted to keep him talking while we get closer to the asteroid field. She turned to Nakamura. What about our prisoners? Any insights that might help us? Actually, yes, Nakamura nodded. I've been studying their shield configurations. The UV vulnerability is their biggest weakness, but there's something else. Their shields are optimized against energy weapons, not physical impacts. Torpedoes? Chen asked. Better than that, Nakamura smiled. Asteroids, Reyes's eyes widened as she understood. Mining charges. If we can detonate them near enough to the asteroids, we create a meteor shower, Chen finished. Brilliant. Do we have enough mining charges? Reyes asked. 6 standard charges in Cargo Bay 3, Chen confirmed. They were meant for the mineral survey on Proxima B. Get them ready, Reyes ordered. We'll need precise timing. The horizon reached the asteroid field with just minutes to spare. The ship slowed, maneuvering carefully between the massive rocks that ranged from car-sized to larger than the ship itself. Eldari ships entering weapons range in 2 minutes, Chen reported. Torres to bridge, came the engineer's voice over the comm. UV modifications complete for the main cannons. Each shot will emit a UV pulse on impact, but the power drain is significant. We'll only get about 20 shots before systems start failing. Understood, Reyes acknowledged. Make them count. She turned to Chen. Deploy the mining charges at these coordinates. She sent the locations to his console. Set them for remote detonation. Aye, Captain. The horizon moved deeper into the asteroid field, dropping the mining charges at strategic points. The Eldari ships followed cautiously, spreading out to surround the human vessel. They're in position, Chen reported as the last charge was deployed. Eldari ships are approaching the kill zone. All hands, battle stations, Reyes ordered. This is it. The first shots came from the smallest Eldari vessel. Bright blue energy beams that lanced through space toward the horizon. Evasive maneuvers, Reyes commanded. The ship banked hard, using a large asteroid as cover. The energy beams struck the space rock instead, vaporizing a portion of it. "Return fire," Reyes ordered. "Target the lead ship with UV-modified weapons." The Horizon's main cannons fired, their energy beams carrying a special payload. When they struck the Eldari ship's shields, there was a flash of normal light, but also an invisible pulse of ultraviolet radiation that passed straight through. On screen, they could see the Eldari ship's shields flicker momentarily. "It's working," Chen exclaimed. Their shield efficiency dropped by 15% after that hit. "Keep firing," Reyes ordered. "Concentrate on that ship." The Horizon continued its attack, moving unpredictably through the asteroid field while firing precisely at the lead Eldari vessel. Each hit weakened the alien ship's shields further, but the Eldari weren't defenseless. The two smaller warships moved to flank the Horizon, while the massive dreadnought approached from above the plane of the asteroid field. "They're trying to box us in," Chen warned. "That's what we want," Reyes replied with a grim smile. "Get ready on those mining charges." The Horizon suddenly changed tactics, flying directly toward the dreadnought. "What is she doing?" Ambassador Thelvak wondered aloud on his ship's bridge. "Sensors. Analyze her flight path. She appears to be attempting to escape the asteroid field," the Eldari sensor operator reported, "possibly making a run for open space where she can use her FTL drive." "Intercept her," Thelvak ordered. "All ships close the net." On the Horizon's bridge, Reyes watched as the Eldari ships moved exactly where she wanted them. "Now, Mr. Chen," she ordered quietly. Chen pressed the detonation sequence. Throughout the asteroid field, the mining charges exploded simultaneously. The blasts weren't aimed at the Eldari ships directly. Instead, they struck the nearby asteroids, shattering them into thousands of high-velocity fragments. A deadly hail of rock fragments shot toward the Eldari vessels from multiple directions. Their energy shields, optimized against weapons fire, struggled to repel the physical impacts. Hundreds of impacts hammered against their hulls in seconds. "Direct hits on all three ships," Chen reported with satisfaction. "The smaller vessels have sustained significant damage. The dreadnought's shields are holding, but at reduced capacity." "Now's our chance," Reyes declared. "All weapons focus fire on the dreadnought. Aim for their command center." The Horizon unleashed everything it had: energy cannons, torpedoes, and point defense weapons, all targeting the massive Eldari vessel. Each impact delivered another dose of ultraviolet radiation, further weakening their shields. The dreadnought returned fire, landing several devastating hits on the Horizon. The bridge shook violently, and several consoles exploded in showers of sparks. "Shields at 30%, Chen shouted over the noise. "One more direct hit like that and we're done." "Evasive pattern Delta," Reyes ordered, gripping her chair as the ship lurched. "Keep firing." The Horizon danced through space, taking hit after hit but somehow remaining operational. Its own weapons continued to pound the Eldari dreadnought, focusing on a single point where the shields had weakened most. "Their shields are failing in Section 2 to G," Nakamura called out from the science station. "One more concentrated burst should penetrate." "All power to forward weapons," Reyes commanded. "Fire!" The Horizon unleashed a final massive energy burst. The beam cut through the weakened section of the dreadnought's shields and struck the hull directly. A secondary explosion bloomed from within the Eldari vessel. "Direct hit to their power distribution node," Chen announced triumphantly. "They're losing shield integrity across the entire ship." On screen, they watched as systems failed throughout the massive Eldari vessel. Its lights flickered and it began to drift. "The smaller ships are retreating," Rodriguez reported. "They're moving out of the asteroid field." "And the dreadnought?" Reyes asked. "Severely damaged, but not to south."